Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Please note that this AI-generated podcast is intended solely for general learning and educational purposes. While we strive to ensure accuracy, the AI may occasionally produce errors or incomplete information. We strongly encourage you to consult qualified professionals and conduct your own due diligence before making any legal, financial, or business decisions based on the content presented here. Also, if you find this content valuable, we kindly request you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to receive updates on future episodes. Let's begin.
Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're really going to try and crack the code on something, well, incredibly fundamental.
Right.
It's about how value gets created and maybe even more importantly, how that value actually gets, captured.
Captured, yeah, in any product, any service.
Exactly. And this isn't just dry theory. We think it's a really practical lens, a powerful way for you to look at business, innovation, really just the world around you. Our source material for this is some excerpts from the Dynamics of Value Creation and Capture.
Great stuff.
Yeah, think of it like a set of, powerful formulas, maybe hidden equations that sort of govern economic success.
That's a good way to put it.
So our mission today is to unpack these, not just define them, but really pull out the surprising insights of what they actually mean for you.
And that's so important because these dynamics, they're everywhere, aren't they? I mean, from your daily coffee purchase all the way up to complex global markets, it's all the same underlying principles.
Right.
And grasping these concepts, it's not just academic learning. It genuinely gives you a kind of shortcut to being really well-informed about how economic interactions actually work.
And what drives success. Yeah.
Exactly. Looking past just the surface stuff to see the engines underneath.
Okay, so let's dive in. The absolute foundation, value created for the consumer. This is ground zero.
Where it all has to start.
Right. And the first formula, it lays it out pretty clearly. Physical effort saved per unit time plus mental effort saved per unit time.
Reason?
Times total time saved for the consumer equals value created for the consumer.
That's quite specific, isn't it?
It really is. So think about that formula. Think about a product or service you use all the time. Is it saving you physical effort, mental effort, or just, precious time?
Like that grocery delivery app example you mentioned before we started.
Exactly. Perfect example.
Yeah.
It saves the physical schlepping through aisles, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And the mental effort of planning the trip, remembering the list.
Oh, yeah, the list.
And obviously it saves a ton of time. So that fits the formula perfectly.
And what's so insightful about this definition is just how consumer-centric it is. Utterly focused on the consumer.
Yeah, it shifts the focus.
Completely. Away from what a company thinks it's selling, features and things, and onto the actual tangible benefit the consumer gets.
So if you're not saving one of those three things,
physical effort, mental effort, or time, then, well, according to this framework, you're just not creating value for them. Simple as that, really.
wow.
So it means starting any venture, any idea, by asking that core question. What specific effort or what chunk of time am I genuinely removing for my customer? That's paramount.
That makes so much sense. But okay, here's the kicker, right? Creating value is one piece. Actually capturing it, that's a whole other ball game.
The crucial next step.
So how does a supplier, turn that created value into something tangible for themselves? Profit, revenue, whatever. This gets us to the second formula, value captured by the supplier. And it's value created for the consumer multiplied by something called the signaling factor.
The signaling factor.
Okay, what is that? What on earth is this signaling factor and why is it such a powerful multiplier?
Well, the signaling factor is basically, it's the perceived value add of that specific supplier by the consumer. It's why you choose one brand over another, essentially.
Even if the core functions seem similar.
Exactly. Even if both seem to save you similar amounts of effort or time, the source material points to some key things here. Intellectual property, for one.
Or like patents.
Patents, unique tech, sure. Also, just the name and recognition of the supplier, the brand itself.
Brand matters.
Hugely.
Yeah.
And their track record, the history of quality output from that supplier, trust.
So things like brand building, reputation management, getting those patents, they aren't just marketing fluff.
Not at all. They're direct multipliers according to this. A high signaling factor lets a supplier capture a much bigger slice of the value they created.
Even if the base value created is like identical to a competitor.
Potentially, yes. Think about it. A really well-known brand, one with a reputation for quality, maybe some unique IP. They can often charge a premium, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Compared to maybe a new or unknown player, even if the basic function, the effort or time saved, is pretty much the same. That strong signal of trust, quality, uniqueness, it translates directly into captured value, money in the bank.
Okay, that clarifies the signaling factor. Now let's get to maybe the biggest challenge for many, growth, scaling up.
The scaling check.
It's great to create and capture value from, say, one customer or a few. But how do you multiply that? How do you get that success across many, many consumers?
Right.
Our third formula addresses this head-on. Total value captured equals value captured per consumer times the number of consumers.
Right.
Seems simple enough, but the big question is always that last part.
How do we boost that number of consumers?
Yeah. How do we dramatically increase it to really maximize the total value we capture?
And that's where the source material gives us another, admittedly more complex formula. It breaks down that number of consumers piece.
Okay, let's hear it.
It says the number of consumers equals supplier constraints times the leverage factor times the total addressable market times an external uncontrollable influences factor.
Whoa, okay. That's a lot to unpack.
It is. It really shows how multifaceted reaching a big audience is. It's not just one thing.
All right, let's break it down then, piece by piece, starting with supplier constraints. What does that mean in practice?
Supplier constraints are basically the built-in limits of whoever's providing the value, the operational realities.
Right.
Well, if you're just one person, a consultant maybe, your biggest constraint is probably your own time and energy, right? There are only so many hours in the day.
Sure.
For a factory, it might be how much raw material they can get or their production line's capacity. These are those sort of internal walls that set the initial boundary on how much you can grow, how many people you can realistically serve right now.
Your starting limits, your non-negotiables almost.
Exactly. Your non-negotiables.
Okay, so those constraints set the baseline. But the next bit, the leverage factor, that sounds like the key to unlocking real scale, doesn't it? Like the way to get beyond those initial limits.
That's precisely it. Constraints might define your box, but the leverage factor is how you make that box effectively bigger or serve way more people without needing a proportionally bigger box.
How does that work?
It's the ability to scale up the number of consumers you reach without a linear one-to-one increase in your own effort or resources or time operating within those constraints you have.
Okay, give me an example.
Think about that solo consultant again. Their leverage factor is pretty low, right? They trade their time directly for money, usually one client at a time.
Right, very limited scale.
Very limited. Now, contrast that with, say, a software company. They invest a lot up front to build the software once, but then distributing it to one more user or 1,000 or 1,000,000 more users, the additional effort per user is tiny.
Almost zero sometimes.
Almost zero. That's an incredibly high leverage factor. It's why business models like software or digital content, online courses, even highly standardized physical products can be so powerful for scaling.
Because they let you multiply your output without having to linearly multiply your input.
You got it. Multiply output without multiplying input proportionally. That's leverage in action.
Okay. Then the next piece of that formula was total addressable market. That one seems maybe more straightforward.
Yeah, TAM, as it's often called. It's essentially the maximum potential audience out there. Everyone who could possibly benefit from or buy your product or service if everything went perfectly.
The absolute ceiling of your potential market size.
Correct. It defines the ultimate scale of the opportunity itself. Is it a niche market or potentially global?
Got it. And the last factor in that equation, external uncontrollable influences factor. Sounds ominous.
Well, it can be. As the name suggests, these are things totally outside the supplier's direct control. The environment, basically.
Like the economy.
The overall economy, absolutely. Big market trends shifting, maybe new government regulations pop up or disappear.
Stuff you just have to react to.
Exactly. A booming economy might suddenly increase demand for your luxury good. A new environmental regulation might make your old process obsolete overnight. It's the external weather you have to navigate.
So it's the whole backdrop.
It's the backdrop against which all your internal efforts, your constraints, your leverage play out. So you see, when you put all those bits together, your internal capacity and limits,
The constraints.
your ability to multiply your effort,
The treasures.
the sheer size of the potential prize,
Total addressable market.
and then those external wins you can't control.
The uncontrollable influences.
That's what gives you the full picture. It paints a really comprehensive view of what truly determines a supplier's ultimate reach, their scale, and ultimately their success. It's this constant dynamic interplay between what you can control and what you can't.
Wow. What an incredible journey through these formulas today. We really started right down at the basics, didn't we? Dissecting what value even means.
From the consumer's view, yeah.
From the consumer's perspective, saving effort, saving time. Then we looked at how suppliers actually capture that value,
Yeah.
bringing in that crucial signaling factor.
The power of brand and reputation.
Exactly. And finally, diving into that really complex, multi-layered reality of scaling. How you go from one customer to potentially millions, dealing with constraints, finding leverage, understanding the market, and navigating those external forces. It really feels like this framework gives you, I don't know, a diagnostic toolkit almost. A lens to analyze pretty much any economic activity you see out there.
I think so too, from the corner store to the biggest tech company.
Yeah.
Indeed. And maybe just to leave you with something to chew on, considering these formulas we've unpacked,
Okay.
particularly thinking about that signaling factor, or maybe even more so, the leverage factor. Here's a little challenge, maybe. Think about one area in your own life, or maybe your work. Where are you creating value, perhaps significant value, but maybe you're not capturing it as effectively as you could. Or maybe you're not scaling it. Or flip it around. Where could just a small shift, maybe improving your signaling factor, how you're perceived, or finding a clever way to introduce some leverage, where could that unlock a completely different level of impact or success you hadn't considered before?
That's a great thought to end on, applying it personally.
Just something to think about. See what possibilities might emerge when you look through this particular lens.